Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, folks. It's that time. Screen pull up. That's right. Vols report card. I'm going to go over that. The victory of 65-24 over Tennessee Martin. That was a real nail biter until about 5 minutes into the game. Then it kind of calmed down. But we're also going to go over the Alabama conspiracy that has been completely destroyed. Yeah, oh yeah, and I'm going to bring the receipts too. Because, you know, if I say something, I'm going to try to back it up. But anyway, we'll get into that here in a minute. I'm still kind of enjoying beating Alabama.
Alabama!
That's right, Alabama. But let's get into this. But first, I do want to say one thing before I get into the grades. I was watching the games after ours because, you know, it's a 12 o'clock game. Of course, you're going to watch the 3:30 and the 7 o'clock. And there was a couple of good ones. There was LSU versus Ole Miss, Alabama versus Mississippi State. That wasn't that good a game. I was concerned about Mississippi State. You don't really want to play Alabama after they've been whooped. They're going to make an example out of you. It's just kind of how it is. But I was watching all the other teams' offenses, and I'm sitting here going, their offenses suck compared to what we do. I mean, I'm ruined. I'm telling you, this offense, we have to keep this offense and this coach because I can't go back to the pedestrian bullcrap that we were doing beforehand, especially that Pruitt nonsense. So I just find everybody else's offense boring, shallow, and pedantic.
I agree as well. Shallow and pedantic.
That's right, what he said. I mean, they're awful. And the thought of having to deal with some other offense other than what we got, it would just be...
Ew! Get off of me! Ugh, as if.
Exactly. As if. No. Get away. We'll just stick with what we got. Seems to be working out pretty good. 7-0. And let's start out with our quarterbacks. Hendon Hooker and Joe Milton, they threw for 411 yards and 4 touchdowns. Even Princeton Fant got in for a touchdown, 5 touchdowns. So that's a real easy grade to give. That's right, A+++. Look, Hendon's probably getting bored with all these A+, but, you know, is what it is. You're going to put those kind of gaudy numbers up there. He didn't even play a whole half. You're going to be stuck with an A+, so deal with it, Hendon. Wide receivers, Jalen Hyatt, Squirrel White. Squirrel had 5 receptions, 122 yards, and a touchdown. Hyatt had his typical great game, 2 touchdowns, almost 200 yards. Keaton had a great game, 2 touchdowns. So, crap, I should have put them in there with the quarterbacks, but here's their grade. Running backs had a nice day, 200 yards. I'm going to give them, and I'm going to give the O-line a good solid A. You know, it wasn't a perfect day or anything. They could have had more, but that's still great. But I can't give them the A++, but I'll give them the A. At least a good solid A for you guys. No problem. I'm getting a little tough with these A+. It's hard to get that. Now, the defensive secondary, they gave up over 300 yards passing, so that wasn't all that great. Look, we had a bunch of backups in there. You know, we had to get some people rested and also hopefully well to play Kentucky and then Georgia. So, you know, they didn't have that great a game. It wasn't terrible, but, you know, you give up 300 yards passing to Tennessee Martin. I got to give out this grade. Yeah, but, you know, like I said, it was mostly backups. So, C+, you know, there are worse grades. All right, now let's get into Alabama's conspiracy theory. Now, I showed you this a couple of days ago that they said this referee during the Tennessee-Alabama game, and this is when we were up 20-7, cheered the Tennessee touchdown, and they didn't like that, which that proved that these guys were on the take. So let me show you what they were talking about.
After VA review, the ruling on the field stands touchdown.
Okay, you see what he did right there. I'll show you one more time.
After VA review, the ruling on the field stands touchdown.
Okay, so he did this, which they felt like was cheering. So let me show you this. Now, if you look at the bottom there, you'll see LSU 30, and let's see, that was Ole Miss 20, and they were deciding on a touchdown. So watch this, referee, exact same referee. Now, you'll notice he did the same thing. That's what he does. And I even said that during the video from a couple days ago. I said either he was glad that the call was upheld because he knew it was right, or that's just what he does. Well, it turns out that's just what he does. So that conspiracy theory, goodbye.
Shut up!
Totally 100% destroyed. And like I said, I like to bring the receipts when I want to destroy a conspiracy. So here was the other one. Yeah, this was the pass interference that Alabama was all tore up about right here. And as you can see, this is Fant. There's the ball about 6 feet away from him. And there's the Alabama guy tackling our receiver before the ball gets there. And like I said, look, that's just pass interference, okay? It just is. I know that it sucked to have it happen at that time, and they felt like the call was maybe a little bit late or something. Something they were upset about. Maybe because the guy, it bounced off of Fant because he's being tackled. And then the Alabama guy intercepted it behind this guy. But they're all tore up about that. And I'm like, look, I don't care who you are. That's evidence of pass interference as clear as it gets. So that conspiracy theory's gone. So that's the end of that, okay? Look, Bama, you just accept the loss. And look, you just punished Mississippi State. You made an example out of them like you always do when you have a loss. And it might be the best thing to happen to you. You know, sometimes when you have a loss like that, all of a sudden, every practice, the players are like listening to everything the coaches have to say. So we might have done you a favor long term. But the Vols are doing great. Look, we're 7-0 going into Kentucky, and I'm going to cover Kentucky tomorrow. I'm also going to cover our boy Lane Kiffin and talk about whether he's going to Auburn or Nebraska, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. But we're mainly going to cover Kentucky and talk about that game coming up. But I can tell you, I could not be more pleased with these Vols, 7-0. And I'm going to tell you what, I think there's been a sea change. They talk about a culture change because last year we had 4 close games, if you'll remember, and we only won 1. Well, this year we're winning all our close games. And that's confidence, that's execution, and that's being comfortable with this new system that Josh Heupel runs. And I also think they've been doing a little bit of psychological therapy with the guys and really getting them to understand that what they're doing is working and that everybody loves it. So I think they did a little bit of this with each player.
Because I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
That's right. You're smart enough, you're good enough, and doggone it, millions of Tennessee Vol fans love you. All right, folks, and that's my Vols report card. Didn't take too long to do that one. That was pretty easy. Also, I wanted to go ahead and dispatch that Bama conspiracy theory. Look, it's been destroyed. Everybody in Tennessee has seen that guy do that now, so we don't want to hear that anymore from Bama. Y'all just relax. Game's over. Take your loss and move on. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Lets me know to continue to cover the Vols. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. I just started about 3 months ago. I could use some subscribers. I sure could. So I hope you did like the content. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk J.